Hello everyone, this is Genius Yoshi, and today the last bit of spoilers for Shimmering Skies have been revealed. So now it's time to make a top 10 list of my top 10 favorite card for the metagame or in terms of power level from Shimmering Skies. Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments, but without further ado, let's go on with the list. Let's kick things off with the bottom of the list and number 10. We have the sword released its Excalibur. And what's it, the caliber of Excalibur? Well, cost 3 uninkable. Yeah, this better be good. At the start of your turn, if you have a character in play with more power than each opposing character, the opponent loses 1 lore and you gain 1 lore. Alright, well that's a 2 lore swing on an item. So it's not a location, it can't be challenged by the opponent. And 2 lore swing on 3 drop location is fine. But the most important part of this is that the opponent's lore is ticking down. So I would play this in a deck like Ruby Amethyst or some kind of big control-ish deck. And oftentimes the control-ish deck are going to be able to establish the board presence. And then the opponent's like 16, 17 lore, which means that you need to remove everything on the spot so that you don't immediately lose. Alilo, well, you have the Maleficent Monsters Dragon. Can't let that quest for 2. Your Madam Mins aren't going to be able to just challenge it out. So the Swords released allows you to keep on playing that big control game. And then once you've established that board control, you keep on ticking and rolling back the opponent's lore counter down while moving closer to victory. And it gives you a bit more breathing room for your deck to stumble. And you don't need answer after answer after answer for everything the opponent plays. You can allow them to play that second character and play your next Be Prepared. You don't need to be prepared that 1-drop Lilo. So that's why I like Swords. The Sword released. It's not a mass inclusion in the deck. It's a 1 of maybe 2 copies as a game ender, as something that allows you to break a stalemate if there's a combat stalemate with the opponent. Well, it gains you lore without having to quest and exert your characters. And that's why I'm putting it at number 10 on my list. Making its way to number 9 on the list is Doc, the Bold Knight. A 1/3 uninkable 2-drop that quests for 1, doesn't get any worse stats than that. But when you play the character, you may discard your hand to draw 2 cards. Okay. Well, discarding a mid full of cards to draw 2 cards is not great. When is this good? When you have no cards in hand. Also, it's a you may, so if you have multiple copies of Doc Bold Knight, you can play 1, choose not to activate, then play the second one, discard nothing, draw 2 cards. And if you change the text on Doc and it becomes, when you play this character, draw 2 cards. Now it's good. I mean, Merlin Rabbit made its way to top 4 of the best card ever for Lorcana, and it draws you 2 cards that are delayed. It's a 4-drop. Doc is a 2-drop. Draws you 2 cards. Also discards the rest of your hand, but you can play around that as long as you don't have too many uninkables. You can always ink a card, play your Doc, get some more cards. It's going to be the last card you play. And in these types of decks and these types of scenarios, it's just fantastic. Helps you find more answer, find more power, gets your character in play. Overall, it's just a very good inclusion. It's probably the type of card that I'll include in my steel list just as a 1-of copy, so that when I draw it, I play the rest of my hand and then boom, Doc refill. Doesn't refill prescriptions, refills your hand. That's the good doctor. Making its way to number 9 on the list. Number 8 on our list, we have Remember Who You Are. 4-drop action, not a song, and it's uninkable. So that's about as undesirable traits as you can get for an action. But if chosen opponent has more cards in their hand than you do, you draw cards until you have the same number. Okay, now that is quite interesting. Remember how a whole new world just completely changes where the game was going, and it's a card you need to respect because you can get from a head-on card to even on cards, and the opponent has nothing to the opponent has a whole bunch of stuff, and then it suddenly becomes board presence and ink versus board presence and ink, and card advantage in hand doesn't matter as much anymore. Remember who you are allows you to do the same thing. It's the type of card that you play in 1 or 2 copies in these super hard aggro decks, where you just dump your hand on the battlefield, and then if you're playing against an aggressive deck, well, it doesn't really matter what last card in your hand is anyways, because you're just trying to race your opponent. If you're playing against a control deck, well, you've applied a ton of pressure, you demand an answer, and you refuel your hand. I can see that card drawing 3-4 cards easily, and that's a very powerful effect that demands respect. With that said, it's not a song, so you can't cheat it out and just bring it out of nowhere and still have ink to do stuff for your turn, which is one of the greatest powers behind A Whole New World. Then again, it's anti-symmetric, so it really only benefits you. So you're going to have to take a turn of break when you're playing Remember Who You Are, pick up a bunch of cards, and, well, then kind of pass the turn. Unless you're playing a bunch of songs, I can see that with a bunch of songs, because you can use your characters to cast the song, so you can multicast during the turn, and then you use Remember Who You Are to refill your hand. And that's another avenue for the card. There's also discounts for action, but now we're getting into slightly sketchy territory. Overall, it's just a powerful card with some abilities, and there's also a handful of cards in Lorcana that force your opponent to draw extra cards. You can put Remember Who You Are with these cards, and suddenly you're forcing cards into your opponent's hand where they don't have the ink to play it, and you're catching up on cards to match your opponent's large hands with a bunch of small stuff that you can play. Overall, I think it's a card that has strong potential, and that's why it's making its way into the top 10 list. Number 7 on our list, we have Merlin, Intellectual Visionary, looking like he's weaving the threads of fate with his magic hand. So, he's an uninkable 6-drop, 3/7, quest for 2. If you just play it on as 6, he's very disappointing. Shift 5, and his ability, the Overdeveloped Brain. When you shift him, you can search your deck for anything. Any single card, put that in your hand. Your hand, not on the top of your deck. None of these shenanigans. No, straight to your hand. So it's a draw 1 card when you put him into play, but draw the card you need, which allows you to build a deck with a bunch of 1 of or 2 of copies of cards in your deck, and you can tutor them whenever you want to. You need to grab your sword? Go and fetch it. You need a stronger removal spell, like a Zeus's Lightning? Go fetch it. You need to refill your hand with A Whole New World? Well, fetch it and sing it. That's what Merlin's doing. And he's allowing you to find the perfect answer at the perfect time. And that is worth number 7 on the list, with the obvious downside that you don't want too many of those stuck in your hand, and you're also forced to play a bunch of smaller Merlins to make this work, because he really needs to shift. But the ability is strong, and I'm sure there's going to be a home for Merlin with the release of Shimmering Skies. Number 6 on our list, we take a break from all of the high-costed uninkable shenanigans and go towards an inkable 1-drop. Doesn't get cheaper to include than that. Cogsworth, Illuminary Watchman. Love the play on word with Watchman there. Holding a watch being a clock and just watching things tick. A 1/1, quest for 1. And when you play the character, you can give rush to anything, including himself. Okay. So why do I like this so much? Few reasons. This goes hand in hand with Madame Min style decks where we have the snake, the fox, and pretty soon the elephant to play. And we need 1-drops to bounce in our hand. We play them on turn 1 or as a utility like Cogsworth. Then we bounce it with the Madame Mim, and then we ink them later or use them for their utility. And Cogsworth has brilliant utility. Just allowing you to rush a character for 1 ink and get more board presence is just very, very good. And he's inkable, so you don't need it, you ink it. Not a problem. He's a huge improvement over the Rabbit's Pocket Watch. I mean, look at him. Much more handsome than a rabbit's pocket watch. Yeah, so 1/1, high utility, fits right into a Ruby Amethyst list. Replace some of these other 1-drops. Cogsworth's going to give you more utility. He's going to allow you to rush unexpectedly and get bounced back for more rush. That's also the other thing. You play him on turn 1, bounce it with a snake, bring him back, you get to play him again and again and again, thanks to the memes. And that's Cogsworth at number 6 spot on the list. We now reached a halfway point with number 5 spot on our list. We have Pete, game referee, just splitting. No. Top 5 coming this way. Bottom 5, no. Timeout for you guys. When you play this Inkable Tree Drop, that's a 3/3. The opponent can't play actions their next turn. And you know what? Songs are actions. You can't sing it. You can't play it. Well, you can ink it, but I mean, you still have to let the opponent play a little bit, but not too much. You gotta stop them from playing that pesky Be Prepared. Just boom. No, you're not doing that. You're about to whole new world? I don't think so. You're about to play something that's not a song? Well, Pete just calls a timeout, forces the opponent to do something else during their turn, which, when played at the right time, can be quite an impactful ability. He is inkable, so you don't need that ability. You ink it, and that's not a problem. I just like the flexibility of that card and the fact that you can completely mess up your opponent if you play it at the right time. Turn 3 Ursula, Deceiver of All? I don't think so. Not on his watch at the very least. As long as he's got the whistle, he's gonna stop you in your tracks for 1 turn. Now you can bounce him and play it again and again, and try to deny the opponent playing action for the rest of the game. I mean, that's what evil YouTubers try to do, right? I'd have to try that. Well, that's why he's taking number 5 spot on the list. Played at the perfect timing, he can just destroy your opponent's plan and put them back quite a bit. Also has fair stats for a 3-drop. And now we've reached the top 4. And I must say the top 4 is a nudge above the rest. As powerful as the cards from 5 to 10 that we've seen are, the top 4 is just la creme de la creme, and being more powerful and are going to see a lot of play in the metagame. And it all begins with, you're welcome. I just love how his stance is what everybody's going to be doing in tournaments when they're playing him. So expect a lot of this when you're playing. So, you're welcome. Shuffle a character, item, or location to that player's deck, and the player draws 2 cards. Oh my god, that's flexible. That is flexibility on the stick, and it's a song. Okay, it's not on the stick, it's a song. Yeah. So you can target your own character item to draw cards. If you're in a bind, you can remove a location. You can remove a high-costed character. And you're giving up 2 cards for the tempo, but you can sing it. So imagine you're playing like an Emerald Steel deck and you're about to whole new world. Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. Draw a bunch of cards. Discard a bunch of cards. Mill just got a new friend. Yes. I'm going to have to build a Mill deck. I'm going to add that to my list of things to build. But for now, you're welcome is going to make number 4 on the list. We don't talk about Bruno was number 5, and You're Welcome seems to be an upgrade to it. So I guess we really won't be talking about Bruno anymore. It's just going to be You're Welcome. In the number 3 spot, as we finally enter our top 3, we have Daisy Duck, Donald's Date, 1/4 for 1, Uninkable, Quest for 2 with a downside. Yes, a downside. Whenever she quests, the opponent looks at the top card. If it's a character, they put it in their hand. Otherwise, they put it on the bottom. So this is Lilo reinvented. You're getting 4 willpower. She's tough. She's a tough duck and very difficult to defeat. There's very few 2-drops that can take her out. There's like Gaston, maybe? And even then, he needs to be ready to challenge. So you're playing on the play, a turn 1 Daisy is going to quest twice. easy. There's almost no way to prevent that. And if you start playing multiple daisies, then you're getting multiple 4 willpowered characters with a little bit of punch. I mean, she does have 1 power. It's not a 0/4. It's a 1/4. And yes, you're giving your opponent a bunch of cards, but if you're playing Daisy Ducks, by the time your hand is empty, you're hoping to having won the game. And the amount of cards in the opponent's hand doesn't matter unless they're playing a super aggressive deck. But in most cases, it doesn't matter. If they deal with your board, you lose. And giving up an extra card, I'm getting board presence with quest and lore pips, and that's all I care about when I'm playing super hard aggro Daisy Duck. Just looking at her prize and saying, yep, I've got the lore. On number 2 spot on our list, the runner-up, we have Prince Naveen, the ukulele player, a 3/3 for 4 uninkable quest for 2, singer 6. Okay, not impressed yet? When you play this character, you may play a song that costs 6 or less for free. Yeah, I know, I really like my Amber Steel songs. But the problem with Amber Steel song is that if the opponent keeps on removing your characters, you can't play your songs for free and get that huge swing in tempo, that huge value out of those. Problem goes away with Prince Naveen. Prince Naveen allows you to play Naveen A Whole New World and still have the character in play. The Whole New World's free, like you just sang it. And Naveen's just great at that. The opponent has a big board and they're like, haha, if you play grab your sword, you're not going to have pressure. Naveen, grab your sword. He just gives you more tempo. And that's exactly what Amber Steel Song wants. It wants to be able to play a bunch of things and keep on just spamming cards like a crazy person or like an Amber Steel Song player. Just keep on throwing cards at the opponent until they resign. That's what I like to do. Hands empty, whole new world, keep on throwing songs. And Naveen, well, if the opponent's preventing you from throwing songs by keeping your board in check, well, you Naveen and you start playing checkers. And you play that card, and the opponent can't do anything. It's a free feels good type of ability, and it's just very strong. Downside is he's uninkable, so you might not want to be playing a full 4 copies of Prince Naveen, but he can get you out of a typed spot, help you sing songs that you never thought you could sing before. Also, you can play them before, so you can start singing these 5-drop songs on turn 4. Of course, we've got turn 3 with Ariel, and yeah, I know. But the ability to play it as an enter the battlefield ability is powerful, and you'll see Prince Naveen included in Amber Steel songs at the very least. Probably in that Emerald songs list as well. You're welcome. And at the number 1 spot on the list, we have Madam Elephant, the elephant in the room, a inkable 4-drop 3/7 quest for 1 with the standard Madam bounce ability. When I first looked at that card, I'm like, okay, she's just a super high stats inkable 4-drop Madam with typical ability. She must have a slight drawback. And then I read it further. At the start of your turn, you may move 2 damage counters from this character to chosen opposing character. Up to 2. You can move 1. You can move 0. That's a great ability. And I only have one thing to say about this card. What are they thinking? Did nobody test this? I mean, Madam Snake as a 3/3 gets played quite a lot. This is a 3/7. This survives a Maui hit. We have a Cogsworth that can give it rush for a turn and just take down an opponent character out of nowhere. And then as long as she has character on, she can just remove the opposing character while having a 3/7. 7's big. It's a lot of willpower. There's almost none 7 willpowered characters, especially not for the cost of 4 or less. Well, this card is auto-included in Ruby Amethyst. I'm not sure what gets replaced, but expect some Madam elephants in the tabletop near you. They will be taking a lot of space. They will cause a lot of trouble. And, well, still have Madam Medusa, right? And that's the tier list with number 1, the number 1 spot, Metamin Elephant. I hope that you've enjoyed my top 10 list. If you disagree or agree, or well, actually just go in the comments section and put your comments, start a discussion on Shimmering Skies and best cards from Shimmering Skies. Let me know what your personal favorite is. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of your answers and to filming some more gameplay video now featuring cards from Shimmering Sky. Also have a box opening coming for those who are watching the channel. We're going to have some fun together. We're going to explore the new set and we're going to have a blast. I hope that you've enjoyed this video and I will see you next time.